Subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon, to never miss a video from us. Data comes in different shapes and sizes, and no single storage solution fits all data. Azure provides many ways to store your data. There are multiple database options like Azure SQL Server, Azure Cosmos DB, and Azure Table Storage. Azure offers multiple ways to store and send messages, such as Azure Queues and Event Hubs. You can even store loose files using services like Azure Files and Azure Blobs. The key factors to consider in deciding on the optimal storage solution are how to classify your data, how your data will be used, and how you can get the best performance for your application. Once you've identified the kind of data you're dealing with, structured, semi-structured, or unstructured, the next step is to determine how you'll use the data. Choosing the correct storage solution can lead to better performance, cost savings, and improved manageability. Azure selected 4 of these data services and placed them together under the name Azure Storage. The 4 services are Azure Blobs, Azure Files, Azure Queues, and Azure Tables. The following illustration shows the elements of Azure Storage. Let's take a look at some of the types of data you will need the Azure Cloud Storage for, and see which Azure Storage service is recommended, based on data classification and operations involved with the data. 1. Product Catalog Data. This type of data is semi-structured, because of the need to extend or modify the schema for new products. Customers require a high number of read operations, with the ability to query on many fields within the database. While the business requires a high number of write operations to track the constantly changing inventory. Thus the recommended service for this type of data is Azure Cosmos DB. 2. Photos and Videos. This type of data is unstructured, and only need to be retrieved by ID. Customers require a high number of read operations with low latency. Updates will be somewhat infrequent, and can have higher latency than read operations. Thus the recommended service for this type of data is Azure Blob Storage. 3. Business Data. This type of data is structured. It is read-only, and needed for complex analytical queries across multiple databases. Thus the recommended service for this type of data is Azure SQL Database. A storage account is a container that groups a set of Azure storage services together. Only data services from Azure Storage can be included in a storage account. Combining data services into a storage account lets you manage them as a group. The settings you specify when you create the account, or any that you change after creation, are applied to everything in the account. Deleting the storage account deletes all of the data stored inside it. A storage account is an Azure resource, and is included in a resource group. The following illustration shows an Azure subscription containing multiple resource groups, where each group contains one or more storage accounts. A storage account defines a policy that applies to all the storage services in the account. For example, you could specify that all the contained services will be stored in the Western Europe data center, accessible only over HTTPS, and billed to the marketing department's subscription. The settings that are controlled by a storage account are: subscription, location, performance, replication, access tier, secure transfer required, virtual networks. Let's now create a storage account using Azure Portal. 1. Sign into the Azure Portal. 2. On the Azure Portal menu or from the home page, select Create a Resource. 3. In the selection panel that appears, select Storage. 4. On the right side of that pane, select Storage Account. Let's now configure the basic options. First, select a region. Under Project Details, select the Concierge subscription from the subscription drop-down list. Then, select the existing resource group from the drop-down list. Under Instance Details. 1. Enter a storage account name. The name will be used to generate the public URL, used to access the data in the account. 2. Select a location near to you, from the list above. 3. Select Standard for the performance option. This decides the type of disk storage used to hold the data in the storage account. Standard uses traditional hard disks, and Premium uses solid-state drives, SSD, for faster access. 4. Select Storage v2 for the account kind. This provides access to the latest features and pricing. In particular, blob storage accounts have more options available with this account type. 5. Select Locally Redundant Storage for the replication option. Data in Azure storage accounts are always replicated to ensure availability. This option lets you choose how far away the replication occurs to match your durability requirements. 6. Set the access tier. The hot access tier is ideal for frequently accessed data, and the cool access tier is better for infrequently accessed data. Next, we will configure the networking options. 1. Click the Next. 2. Set the connectivity method option. This option allows you to isolate the storage account on an Azure virtual network. Next, we will configure the advanced options. 1. Click the Next. 2. Set Secure Transfer Required to Enabled. The Secure Transfer Required setting controls whether HTTP can be used for the REST APIs used to access data in the storage account. Setting this option to Enabled will force all clients to use SSL. 3. Leave the Large File Shares option set to Disabled. 4. Leave the Blob Soft Delete option set to Disabled. Soft Delete lets you recover your blob data, in many cases, where blobs or blob snapshots are deleted accidentally or overwritten. 5. Leave the Data Lake Storage Gen 2 option as disabled. This is for big data applications that aren't relevant to this module. Now click Review plus Create to review the settings. This will do a quick validation of your options, to make sure all the required fields are selected. If there are issues, they'll be reported here. Once you've reviewed the settings, click Create to provision the storage account. It will take a few minutes to deploy the account. To verify, first select the Storage Accounts link in the left sidebar. Then, locate the new storage account in the list, to verify that creation succeeded. For more such videos, subscribe to our channel.